Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, or should we say inmate 37452-054, nightmare at New York's Metropolitan Detention.
I bet he is a living nightmare.
A jail described as hell on earth. Violence, drug use, threats to life, and shared showers. No, we're not talking about Diddy's freak-offs. This is just another brutal day inside MDC. In today's episode of the Infographic Show, we'll explore Diddy's new home and his life inside NYC's Hellhole jail.
And how it's all
Diddy is currently
Diddy.
living the counter-life to his hyper-luxurious existence that came crashing to an end in September 2024 when he was charged with sex trafficking
I've been telling people about this stuff way before that.
of a criminal enterprise, which included reams of sexual offenses against women. Diddy rapped his way into stardom in the 90s, eventually racking up
And
around $1 billion through music, fashion, restaurants, vodka, and TV.
and
He held so-called white parties where a who's who of fame and fortune had the opportunity to snort rails from the tanned bodies of call girls. These X-rated shindigs had
and milk boxes.
where guests could indulge their most lurid fantasies. These were marathon orgies where the escorts servicing the VIPs would have to use intravenous drips to recover from days of non-stop sex and rampant drug use. Diddy is now doing hard time in a Spartan prison cell at the MDC.
As he should.
Ones he sees are the ones he's told to stand behind as he strips, ordered to drop and cough. As the most high-profile prisoner in the
I know that's dropped office.
monitor, his every move is recorded.
That point just
Scratch his nose without someone watching. And you can be sure he won't end up sharing a cell with a muscular thug with hands big enough to screw off human heads. Diddy is currently being held in the Special Housing Unit, aka the SHU, a 23-hour lockdown part of the prison. That means he's purposefully being kept away from the general.
I bet he is.
According to a former warden, is because he wouldn't last a minute in the main part of the jail.
He wouldn't.
Not only is he charged with sex crimes, but killing Diddy, according to this warden, will bestow an inmate a badge of honor. Diddy is a dead man walking if anyone can actually get to him. At the very least, he'll have to pay millions in protection money. The question is, can they get to him? We'll come back to this topic soon. First, let's examine his day-to-day.
Can they get to him?
In a jail that sits somewhere within the seventh circle of hell, the violent part. Wake-up call is 6 a.m. on the dot, when Diddy will open his eyes to 4 bare walls. He probably isn't getting much sleep. The SHU is quiet during the night, but the occasional scream will no doubt wake him from his nightmares. It is also very
Sure, the shoe was haunted.
without a pillow on a 1.5-inch mattress.
No pillow.
In bedroom home, just one of his homes, had a theater, a spa, a beauty salon, and a pool connected to an underground water tunnel. There's likely no natural light in his cell, just a strip light above the furnishings of an iron bed
Not named.
floor, next to an all-in-one ensuite sink and toilet. He spends 23 hours a day in this cell. His family has been allowed to see him.
I know you're mental, not mentaling.
The majority of his days are just him and those 4 walls, plus the odd visit from Kenny the Cockroach. Yes, he probably names them. That's the kind of
I named him too. Fluffy outside right now.
bed every day after he awakes to mop the floor and keep his toilet and sink clean.
Midnight.
Give him something to do. It might is going insane from inactivity. Each morning he receives his breakfast through a small.
That was like booty.
There will be no caviar on
That bread and corn.
powdered scrambled egg
Some unorganic orange juice water.
juice. This is one of 3 meals each day, which all
Kitty milk.
should give him at least 8.
That one look a little better. Tomato soup, no mac.
When he finally gets his meal, it won't be
Bran muffin.
$3,000 on a single meal in New York to eating cold hot dogs made from muscle and sinew. With each jail meal typically costing $3 to $4, he'll have to get used to mystery meat and maybe the odd surprise dish. An MDC prisoner recently complained about maggots in his food. Still, Diddy has
Maggots.
he has access to the commissary, where he can buy candy, coffee, tea, and other food treats, and likely clothes or a radio. The maximum he'll be able to spend is $160 every 2 weeks. Not much for a man who owned a $500,000 diamond-studded gold.
Why would there be a max? That's kind of. I mean, Diddy, but like, there shouldn't be a max.
If he is
You got it.
likely material found in the jail's TrueLinks electronic law library. prisoner recently said resources are really bad in the MDC. Forget about your constitutional rights, he said. Human rights here are a problem.
Yeah, they should do jails better. I have a bunch of ideas for jails.
In showers that inmates have said are full of mold. It's likely Diddy, a man who is used to the
That's probably why they're so mad.
familiar with the scent that fills a badly ventilated room when large logs of fecal matter don't flush properly. There were recently 800 work orders for repair and infrastructure at the MDC in the space of a month, and plumbing was one of the issues that needed to be fixed. Let's now imagine Diddy was in general population. This has been called hell on earth since it was opened in 1994. In recent years, it's been known
Almost my
for
birthday,
assaults.
97.
Reports say prisoners receive inadequate supervision and insufficient medical care. An inmate reported people get stabbed at least a couple of times a week in a jail where inmates have homemade knives that are 6 to 9 inches long. Not long ago, an inmate was stabbed multiple times. Instead of receiving medical care, he got a 25-day lockdown. Another prisoner was stabbed to death. This happened in a jail.
Imagine being and then put in a cell. That's
over the last
crazy.
5 years for doing shady business with the prisoners, which, according to a current inmate, means bringing in phones, the drugs, the razors, the scalpels. It's even said that some of the correction officers are gang members. It's so incredible.
Yeah, I already knew people dirty.
That
not
judges
new.
have been reluctant to send men there. Still, they don't have many options since the Metropolitan Correctional Center was shut down, mostly because of what happened to Jeffrey Epstein. If the same happens to Diddy, you can be sure heads will roll. So, is he completely safe? It depends. Just before we started making this video, it was reported he'd left his total isolation and was shacked up in a dorm with the former crypto king Sam Bankman-Fried. But this is just a rumor. It's hard to know because the Bureau of Prisons says it does not provide information about conditions of confinement.
I bet they don't.
Definitely won't talk about security. But we do know from Diddy's lawyers that life in the jail is not ideal. They recently called the conditions horrific, attempting to get Diddy out on bail with a $50 million bond, but the judge refused.
I got that just laying around under the couch somewhere.
Work out for Diddy. If it's true,
Not for you, though.
he'll be experiencing 24-hour paranoia, sleeping with one eye open.
I already would if I were you.
Of every man, he might be
Paranoia like a
guys who,
mofo.
like him, require protective custody. But that doesn't mean any of the 18 to 20 of them in that dorm won't be dangerous. A few of them, like Diddy, will be in for sex-related offenses. And we're talking about a man worth hundreds of millions, so we can expect Diddy will be paying some serious money to help him stay alive. But let's not forget that a person is innocent until proven guilty. Diddy's lawyers recently said that their client has been looking forward to clearing his name, and he is...
I don't think you can clear your name, D. You might be able to lighten up your load at this point.
have nothing to lose. And maybe something to gain. And that's why it's almost certain if
You
he's
even
found
said you
guilty,
did.
he'll spend much of the remainder of his life in a protective custody unit, where he'll have lots of opportunities to discuss freak-offs with men of the
How's
predatory
it feel,
kind
Diddy?
who made
How's
freak-offs
it
their
feel?
life's work.
That's the other video.
One prisoner.
Pause.